is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
What are you doing? What happened to the Expos hat?
It's here.
I mean, but
It'll
that's
change
like,
up.
you changed it up on us. You threw us a twist there. All right, I like it.
Incognito.
How's that?
I'm going incognito.
That's what I like. All right, there's nothing wrong with that, Richie. All right. Anyway, let's. What'd you think of the Heat last night? I don't know if you watched much of it. Are you much of a basketball guy?
Not anymore.
Yep.
I used to be. I was a Showtime Lakers guy.
Are you watching that special?
I am, but I have a hard time with it because I'm anal enough to, like, if you're gonna portray it, and I want to know what's true, what's not true.
Yeah, it's not.
And that's the thing. And some of it is, and some of it isn't. And I actually, again, I'm anal enough to actually look at the scores through like reference websites when they portray games in the show, and a lot of them don't match up. I mean, they
nothing. Yeah. Storylines, timelines are off.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely, it's like watching Motley Crue The Dirt. There's some timelines that are off on that one too, and so it's just, it's one of those things. So I've already, at first I didn't want to watch it because I thought it was just going to be a cheesy thing.
Mm-hmm.
And then once I started watching it, it's kind of cheesy, but then I looked at it and said, okay, this has nothing to do with the real deal. They're just kind of using the characters and they're making their own storylines. All right, I'll go with it. I'll roll with it and have some fun. You know what I mean? Sure. So it's
entertaining.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I look at it as, just entertaining. And this guy, by the way, the guy that plays Dr. Buss, did you see
Riley is awesome.
Yeah, did you see that movie that he did that he's like a rock star? Dewey something?
Yeah.
Or
I may have seen snippets of it.
Oh, you should watch the whole movie.
Yeah.
It's actually, I had a listener give me the DVD because he had mentioned it to me on I don't know, on air or whatever. And on one of my appearances, he came by and brought it to me. And I've watched it actually a couple times. It's a really good movie, dude. Like, he does a really good job overall. I'm a fan of his. So
big time.
That was the other thing that brought me on to the show. That okay, I'll ride and die with this guy. I'm good.
He's completely awesome. I mean, he was great in Boogie Nights. He was great in The Perfect Storm, the voice of Wreck-It Ralph.
Yep.
So to answer your original question, I did not see the game. I made it a point to watch some of the key highlights. And to me, if I'm a Heat fan, I'm perfectly cool with going down with Jimmy Butler taking the potential game-winning three-point shot. He's the guy who got you there. It's a lot more palatable than Jamal Washburn passing up a jump shot in the key to shoot it over to Clarence Weatherspoon.
Yeah, it wasn't a good decision by Jimmy, but you could kind of live with it because you're not there anyways without Jimmy, so it doesn't really matter. It's the only reason we're there in Game 7. It's because Jimmy's been just absolutely amazing. By the way,
you say it's not a good decision because he's not
a good three-point shooter.
There's nobody under the boards, but if he makes it, everybody's going crazy. I mean, because he wasn't like he had a hand in his face.
No, it was a clean shot. Shot.
And I'll give you another one. If last night wasn't exhibit 7,528 of why instant replay needs to go in every sport, that three-pointer that they overturn on the Heat, 5 minutes after the fact, when you see the replay, and you're going to tell me clearly that it's obviously stepped out of bounds?
Right. It doesn't look like it's clearly on the line. Yeah. The only thing is, like, I won't make a big deal of it because in the end, you weren't going to win anyways, whether you gave them the three or not. It didn't matter. Boston controlled that game, but the way it went about it, terrible, bro. But again, the worst officiating that exists in all of pro sports in this country, it's in the NBA. It's not even close, dude. Referees in the NBA are the worst, and they prove it all the time. And that was another great example yesterday with that one.
But I will tell you, so in fairness to them, before we switch on to another sport, I've officiated every sport at low levels, obviously, but basketball by far the toughest to officiate. Not even close.
Oh, it's well because it's so fast. Yeah, I
It's
get what you're
fast.
saying.
Guys are big. There's tons of contact. You can call everything on. You can call something on every play if you want to. Yeah, much tougher than the other sports.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. All right, what do you think is happening in the Okie playoffs? By the way, before I ask you anything on the Panther side, we got the Rangers and the Hurricanes tonight.
Yeah, I mean, you see the stat with the Hurricanes, which is pretty crazy. They played 13 playoff games. They're 7-0 at home and 0-6 on the road. So pattern holds, they'll win. I at some point Tampa Bay, somebody's going to have to catch up to Tampa Bay, and I don't know if it's coincidence that I wore this hat, but this is now the Colorado Avalanche, so maybe I'm subliminally predicting that they're going to win the Stanley Cup.
Ah, so you're going with the Avalanche over the Oilers?
Oh, I do. They're better rounded. McDavid's the best player in the game, but Colorado's a better overall team.
Yeah. We need a Connor McDavid on our team. By the way,
so much fun to watch.
We need a some bitch on our team.
Mm-hmm.
Is what we need next to Barkov. You know what I mean? By the way, you follow that sport a lot more. Is there a disgruntled star they can go trade for, like a mother effer that's out there that is on a mediocre team or a pretty good team that's going to start tearing down their team or something?
No, not like that. The biggest name who could be on the move might be Johnny Gaudreau of the Calgary Flames, who's a dynamic player, but he's on the smallish side. And again, that's what this team needs.
He's a Theo Fleury type.
He's a little bit bigger. Yeah, he's even bigger. I mean, he's smallish, but the dude can play. And he's going to get big money. I believe he's a UFA. So he's going to stay in Calgary, or there's talk maybe the Islanders or something.
All right. Well, speaking of big money,
mm-hmm.
You know, the Raiders probably pissed off the league when they gave John Gruden a ginormous contract, right? Oh, like, damn it, now Matt Rule's getting this fat-ass contract he doesn't deserve, yada, yada, yada. So fat contracts end up showing up and sometimes ruin some things. And you wrote about one. So Njoku, who has not earned the contract he got, by the way.
Correct.
Let's just call it like we say. As much as I liked him coming out of the University of Miami, as much as we were all like enthralled with his talent, because his physical talent is unquestioned, okay? Never has he turned into the player we thought he was going to turn into, yet they paid him on the potential that he's going to be that player. They did not pay him according to how he has produced, so kudos to his agents. They did a marvelous job. But now the Miami Dolphins are going, well, wait a minute, dude, our guy has played twice as better than this guy. What the hell are we going to do now with Mike Gesicki? So how has the Cleveland Browns screwed the Miami Dolphins and Mike Gesicki?
Yeah, and Mike Gesicki's agent in the meantime is going, cha-ching. Yeah. No, I think – because now there's no way Gesicki's agent's now looking at that contract and go, guys, we're much better than David Njoku. Right. So that's the starting point. If I'm Mike Gesicki's agent, and now you're getting into, I mean, Njoku right now, the average is $14 million a year. That puts him fifth among NFL tight ends behind Kittle, Travis Kelce, Mark Andrews, and Dallas Goedert. And Darren Waller at some point is going to get in that group because Darren Waller is a dude. So at some point, to me, this contract increases the possibility and the likelihood, even though it's already there, that he's going to play the franchise tag, correct, and then the Dolphins will revisit, and unless he completely busts out in 2022, they might be like, okay, we're not ready to pay you that kind of money. So if I'm a Dolphin fan, this was not necessarily great news. And again, this is the Browns pissing off other teams, which they also did with the Deshaun Watson with $230 million fully guaranteed. For not exactly a model citizen, no matter how his situation shakes out.
Yeah, that was a disturbing contract that they gave that guy. You're kind of breaking up a little bit there. I guess we're having a little funky internet connection. So this obviously looks like a deal that is going to really put a lot of pressure on the Dolphins and Gesicki. And can you imagine if Gesicki comes out of the blocks like flying and kicking ass and putting up some points, it just becomes a bigger problem at every moment. So I'm wondering how that trading deadline now is going to start looking next year. If he's playing well, they're looking at it going, yeah, we're not going to be able to pay him, that kind of stuff. So it's just going to be really interesting how this whole thing works out with him and the team, because first of all, we were all trying to figure out, can he even fit this scheme? Now with these contract numbers, does it really matter now? Because he's going to be able to ask for things because he's better than some of the guys that are signing for way more money than what he's making. It's nuts, dude.
Well, the problem they're going to have, the Dolphins, if they decide, let's say like midway through the season, yeah, we want to move on from him, it's going to be too expensive, then whoever is going to give you something for his services, then they have to deal with the idea of re-signing him because they're not going to want him to be a rental. So that complicates matters in the trade possibility.
I'm with you there.
Unless they give him permission to negotiate a new deal before a trade.
What are you working on in Sports Illustrated so folks can check you out?
Well, I'm going to come up with something this afternoon. It's kind of a little bit of a down period here. We have the veteran mini camp coming up Wednesday and Thursday, so hopefully that'll give us something to talk about. But not quite. I haven't quite pinned down what we're going to be doing, and there'll be something on the site this afternoon at some point.
All right. Follow him on Twitter at Poupart NFL and catch him twice a week here doing his thing with our Sports Grill Miami Dolphins Insider Report. Alain, as always, thank you, my man. I appreciate you.
You got it. Have a good one.
There you go. As always, Alain Poupart getting it done.
This is the Big O Show.